Hey there, this is Ruben from Dutch Round 1. Thanks again for stopping by. Thanks for watching another episode. I appreciate your time and I appreciate your support. Today we are going to do something new. We'll take a look at 10 common mistakes in Dutch made by Dutch language students. But before we do that, remember to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you want more content, and let me know in the comments if this explanation was helpful for you. But without much further ado, let's go straight for the 10 common mistakes in the Dutch language. And the first one we are going to take a look at is the difference between veel and heel. Veel means a lot, many, much, and heel means very. When I'm teaching and when the students are speaking Dutch, which is great, I hear this mistake quite a bit. They will mix up veel with heel. So if we look at the examples, het regent veel. It rains a lot. We hebben veel vragen. We have many questions. Zijn veel mensen op straat. There's many people in the street. Okay? Then when we take a look at heel, heel means very. So if you look at the examples, ik ben heel moe. I am very tired. Wij zijn heel blij. We are very happy. Very content. And dat is heel leuk. That is very fun. So that would be the translation. Veel is a lot, many, and much. Heel is very. Don't confuse both. Alright, so then we go to the next one, and this one is also quite common. Tijd and keer. Now, tijd means time, and keer means also time. But there is a difference. Now, tijd is time as in a space of time, like a period, hours. So if you look at the examples, we hadden een leuke tijd. We had a good time. In die tijd was alles anders. In that time, everything was different. We hebben nog veel tijd. We still have a lot of time. So as you can see, tijd is more like a space of time, hours, a period. Okay? If you look at keer, then it also means time, but as in a number of occasions, like a few times, right? So we look at the examples. Dat is de derde keer. That is the third time. Ik ben al 2 keer naar Nederland geweest. I've been twice already, or 2 times already, to the Netherlands. Hoeveel keer ben jij verhuisd? How many times did you move? So the difference, keer, a number of occasions, number of times, literally, and then tijd, time, but more like as in a space of time, hours. Okay, we'll go to the next one, the position of always. And that is a bit the case is when people try and speak Dutch, they'll refer first to English and they'll directly, literally translate from English. So we take a look at the example on how to use always in Dutch and where to place it. So the example would be, I always brush my teeth. So in English you can put it between your subject, which is I, then you place always, which is an adverb, and then the verb, your finite verb, brush. Now in Dutch, we don't like to split up our subject, finite verb combination. So what we will do is we will put it behind our finite verb. So the wrong translation in Dutch would be, ik altijd poets mijn tanden. That is a literal translation from English, but unfortunately incorrect. We place it behind. Ik poets altijd mijn tanden. So how do we say it in Dutch? If you would translate it literally in English, we would say, I brush always my teeth. Right? So don't forget to put your always in a single sentence after your finite verb. The next one will be willen and zullen in the future. This one is also a little bit confusing because in order to indicate the future in English, you will use will, right? So many people, again, they are thinking about English and they want to speak Dutch. So automatically when they are speaking, they will say the verb willen instead of zullen, right? So if you look at the example, I will go to school, okay? Some people will say, ik wil naar school gaan. But ik wil naar school gaan in Dutch means I want to go to school. However, you want to say, I will go to school, like in the future, in the coming days, in the coming hours. So the correct verb, which you need to use and conjugate, will be zullen. And you will say, ik zal naar school gaan. And that means, I will go to school, or I shall go to school. Alright, we go to the next one and we take a look at the three musketeers. And these ones, well, unfortunately you kind of have to know them, but many people mix them up. Moeilijk is difficult, makkelijk is easy or gemakkelijk, both of them are the same, they both mean easy, and mogelijk is possible, right? So maybe a way to remember them, but you kind of have to learn them by heart. Think about makkelijk has an A, easy also has an A. So this way, at least you know that makkelijk is easy, and then for the other two, you'll need to do a little bit of learning by heart. Moeilijk, difficult, makkelijk, easy, mogelijk is possible. Right, we go to the next one, geen. Geen is a bit of a tricky one, because when people make negative sentences in Dutch, they will use niet all the time. And it's actually almost correct, because niet is the most common word we use in order to make negative sentences in Dutch, in order to make the negation. However, do not forget geen, because geen has its place too in the negative sentences. And when do we use geen? Well, we will use geen in a couple of cases. As you can see at the examples, ik heb een boek. First, I have a book. Ik heb enkele boeken. Second sentence, I have a few books. And ik heb boeken. I have books. Now, what do these sentences have in common? Well, the first sentence, they are preceded by an indefinite article. An indefinite article is un, so it's a book. It can be any book, it's a random book. It's not specified, it's not a definite article. When you would say, I have the book, then you would use the article de or het. Okay, that would be the first one. Then we go to the second one. Ik heb enkele boeken. I have a few books. Again, indefinite, a few books. Is it 2? Is it 3? Is it 75? Nobody knows. And then the third one, ik heb boeken. I have books. Again, undefined, indefinite, no article in front. So I have books. Can it be 2? Can it be 75? We don't know. So it's undefined, it's indefinite. It's not specific. Now, when we have a case like this and we have to make a negation, we have to negate the noun, then we will use geen and we will not use niet. So, ik heb geen boeken and ik heb geen boeken. Alright? So don't forget geen when you are making negative sentences in Dutch. Then we take another one. The second verb, we put it at the end. So that's another pitfall if you translate literally from the English language. For instance, I have bought a car. I will sell my bike. Now in Dutch, what we like to do is we put our finite verb, our auxiliary verb, or our modal verb. We like to put that one in front, next to our subject. However, that second verb we place all the way to the end. So the wrong translation would be, ik heb gekocht een auto. That would be a literal translation from English. I have bought a car. But what do we do in Dutch? Ik heb een auto gekocht. So literally, I have a car bought. Doesn't make sense if you translate it literally in English, but that is how we do it. So that second verb, in this case a past participle, or in the second case, ik zal mijn fiets verkopen. I will my bike sell. I will sell my bike. So basically, that second verb, the infinitive in this case, we place it at the end. Think about it, because many people forget that when they translate literally from English. Right? Then we look at graag. Graag is not a verb. Many people sometimes when my students they speak, they think graag is a verb. So when they say, I like to play in the garden, sometimes I hear ik graag in de tuin spelen. Or sometimes I hear ik graag in de tuin. Graag is not a verb. Graag is an adverb. So it's the same case with always, right? So what do? Single sentence. If you look at the correct translation, ik speel graag in de trein. I like to play in the garden. Alright? Graag is a bit difficult to translate literally in English, but it can be like with pleasure. So I play with pleasure in the garden. That is what the literal translation might be in English. So what you do is you do not put it between your verb, which is spelen, and your subject, but you place it after. Ik speel graag in de tuin. Right? I like to play in the garden. I'd like a coffee. Ik wil graag een koffie. So again, wil is your verb. Graag is your adverb, so you place it after. Okay, and then we have another one which is quite common, which is thuis and huis. Now, thuis means at home or home. If you look at the examples, ik ben thuis, ik blijf thuis. I'm home, I stay at home. Right? Then we look at huis, and huis is more like a space, like as in the building. If you look at the examples, ik ga naar huis. I go to the house, literally. Of dit is een groot huis. This is a big house. Alright, so maybe to give you a little hint, with thuis you cannot use a preposition. What is a preposition again? It's in, it's on, it's at, it's on top of, it's under, it's above. All of these words are prepositions. So with thuis you will never have a preposition. So you cannot say ik ben in thuis. No, you would say ik ben in het huis. Or ik ga naar thuis. Doesn't work. You would say ik ga naar huis. I go home. So thuis will always be standing on its own without a preposition. As in ik ben thuis, ik blijf thuis. So I am home or I stay at home. Okay, and then we go to the last one. The last one is klaar. Klaar and clear in English and Dutch, they are not a good fit. Alright, so what does that mean? Well, look at the example. In English you can say the answer is clear, right? And many people, they will translate it literally, het antwoord is klaar. However, klaar does mean ready or finished in Dutch. For instance, ik ben klaar means I am ready, or het huiswerk is klaar means the homework is finished. Alright? So if you want to say something is clear in Dutch, you will say het antwoord is duidelijk. The answer is clear, or het is duidelijk. It is clear. Right? So do not mix up clear and klaar, because they do not mean the same in Dutch and English. Alright, so these were 10 common mistakes in the Dutch language made by language students. I hope it helped you out. I hope in the future you can avoid making these mistakes, and this way you can improve your conversational skills in the Dutch language. As for me, I want to thank you again for watching another episode. As always, I appreciate your time, I appreciate your support. And speaking of support, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments what you thought about this exercise. And that's all. I want to thank you again for watching, and stay tuned for another episode of Dutch Round 1.